IGN Game Scoop is brought to you by...
Let's check in with the listeners.
Hey, listeners.
Listeners, remember you can always reach us at the email address, gamescoop@ign.com, just like Tubby TJ did.
TJ.
TT.
He says, I've noticed that in the current gaming generation, companies and gaming itself has put a tremendous amount of emphasis on online play and basically being alone.
Right.
I still remember the good old days where I and my friends would go to a house and play Halo Combat Evolved on split screen, Super Smash Bros., Fusion Frenzy, various Mario Party games, and we all would have the greatest fun together playing those games. I feel that kids of this generation are missing out on how wonderful local play used to be. Do you think that the gaming industry could put a more positive emphasis on 4-player local play without it becoming a disaster? Ooh. I don't know what he means by that.
Yeah.
I mean, I completely agree with him, but I think we're in the midst of a local multiplayer sort of renaissance right now.
Maybe.
Yeah, we've had some rad games.
You and I are talking about we're gonna write
a feature about all this stuff. Yeah, about stuff like Towerfall, Samurai Gun, Nidhogg, Monaco, Smash is coming out.
Kart.
Yeah, you got a lot of games.
Yep.
We play golf locally.
We play golf locally.
You could play it online.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe I'm a little too old because I grew up, playing these local multiplayer games. Online play doesn't really excite me that much.
No, yeah, we missed out on that. That's what we were talking about with first-person shooters, right? Like Titanfall's the only one that's ever really got its hooks in me, and it's just because before I was never.
We did play some Left 4 Dead back in the day.
Good point.
Yeah.
But even that was more like I'm teaming up with you to go do stuff, and Rainbow Six was the same way. I'm teaming up with you.
Yeah.
Competitive. I'm playing by myself. I want to try to be the best of my team. That was never really appealing to me until Titanfall.
See, I played thousands of competitive Halo matches. I totally agree with Marty. I think it's they're not all indie games, but it's largely coming from the indie scene. I really, really like that one of the things the indie scene does well is take stuff that used to be popular and now, either AAA games can't or won't, bring that back. But the indie scene can do that. They do it with Metroidvanias and this other stuff that I really like, and now it has this place. It has this sort of spot where it can grow and thrive in video games. Mm-hmm.
It's important to point out, too, I think, on the indie landscape, right, it's kind of that they can't. They can't fund a server. They can't keep this going, so it has to be local.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of the two. It's like that's what they grew up being passionate about, like us, and now they're game makers themselves. And so that coupled with the fact that, they're certainly not paying, to keep servers live for online gameplay.
It's funny, a lot of these games that we mentioned, stuff like even Sports Friends, it's almost like the modern-day arcade. Yeah. We don't really have arcades anymore. You can't go and play Street Fighter next to someone or go play like a beat 'em up alongside your buddies. Like those just don't really exist now. So these games are sort of carrying that torch and that idea, which I like a lot as someone who loved arcades as a kid.
The resurgence of local multiplayer is fantastic.
Yeah.
Nidhogg it did win Game of the Month.
Yeah, won Game of the Month in January.
Yeah. And we had a tremendous amount of fun at IGN playing around the office. And even though that's only 2-player, there would be a party of people just being like, oh! And you had the classic thing where the loser has to give up their controller and turn it off.
And Mario Kart's been the same way with us. Playing it, people have been gathering around the TV wanting to play. So
it's stuff that when I was growing up, I didn't really have a lot of friends, and so it's I would get these games. I would have stuff like Street Fighter, and then it was really sad. I didn't have anybody to play Street Fighter against.
Mom, play with me.
Yeah,
she's like, Grandma's on the phone. I can't understand what he's saying.
Grandma, do a quarter circle. I don't have a tongue.
What do you need a tongue for?
Do a quarter circle? Well, I would be worried if I didn't have a tongue. The last thing I'd be worried about is perfecting a Hadouken with Justin.
That's true.
I think of local multiplayer today like listening to music on vinyl. It's putting vinyl on the platter, dropping the needle is like a ceremony. It turns listening to music into this a ceremony. And that's what sort of getting your friends together. It's more work than just hopping online with random people and playing a game. Yeah. It takes work. You have to organize something, get people all in one place. You have to buy more than one controller. Yeah. But then it can be more rewarding too.
Yeah, 100%.
That's one of the things that has potential to be Nintendo's bread and butter. That can be their sweet spot moving forward. We always talk about what do they need to do, what can Nintendo do. They've always championed local multiplayer in a way that others didn't. The N64 had 4 controller ports, and the other consoles had 2. I guess the Xbox ended up having 4 too in the next generation. But it never really went away with Nintendo. All their consoles really emphasized that. I played a ton of Boom Blocks on the Wii. At Thanksgiving and other holidays.
Boom Blocks was awesome.
Yeah.
Boom Blocks was awesome.
Yeah. Thanks, Steven Spielberg.
Man,
you're welcome.
I'd love a new Boom Box thing.
I hope Steven Spielberg's next movie says from the creator of Boom Block.
Sure. I thought Lincoln was, or Warhorse was going to say that.
Sure.
Yeah.
You were waiting for it?
Yeah.
You sat through the whole credits scene like, what?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's. I hope that Nintendo really does continue to put an emphasis on it. It doesn't need to be mutually exclusive, though, right? That's what I was getting at. Is it doesn't have to be one or the other.
Yeah,
like
like you
Mario
can also play
Kart
online,
is
yeah.
both.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Smash is going to be both.
so if you're a sad kid like me that doesn't have a lot of friends, you can still play online. Or if you do have a lot of buddies, then you can come over and get some beers or sodas and play Mario Kart.